of modern music.
If a girl touch me, me nah say me nah be that.
Tell when you are buying, you be more careful, do you can find.
Stay connected all day, every day. WhatsApp us anytime. 727-4474. The Wave, 94.5 and 93.7 FM.
4.5, and of course, we had an experience of a lifetime that, of course, they're going to afford to you to support the Blind Welfare Association Glaucoma Month. Of course, Blind Awareness Month is coming up. And as I said, we've been giving tremendous kudos to Anthony Avril, because I always remember coming from Radio Antilles and having to do the telephone many years ago. And a beautiful resort I stayed at with, of course, I don't know if she say ex or not. I don't know if she regarded herself as being an ex, but we stayed there for a couple of days, and I've always been in the VG beach area playing football and so on. But this place was fascinating, especially the folks, the chef and the breakfast folks. I had to pick them up. And yesterday, was it yesterday when we were there again, Masana? The day before yesterday.
Monday.
Yeah, the day before yesterday, because the food was so good, Masana had to take an entire day to relax after that, I tell you. And it's all to do with Dine in the Dark. We got some special guests with us this morning. A lovely lady. May I let her introduce herself? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I am Jacqueline Scott. I'm the Corporate Social Responsibility Officer for Sunswept Resorts.
Right.
And my role spans both Body Holiday and Rendezvous.
Yes.
Which are owned by
Are you a Body Holiday too? So that lovely villa on the top of the hill, you're involved in that too as well?
Yes.
All right. We got another gentleman with us this morning.
Okay, so I'm Glenn Simon. I'm the president of the St.Lucia Blind Welfare Association.
Oh, you Glenn? You're president? I didn't know. Glenn, you came in there. We didn't know you're part of the video fund. I don't understand that at all.
Media people too.
We talk to you very much. We speak most times on the email. Yeah, but I didn't know that. Okay, president.
I joined. I came in as president about a year and maybe 4 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has been quite an exciting time trying to get the blind welfare up on its feet. Because when I came in, it was a point where they needed a lot of money.
They need a lot of money.
Not that we don't need a lot of money still. But we're doing better.
And a lot of awareness too, Glenn.
Yes.
Because a lot of the good work they do is not, and it's not for all of you guys too, but it's not that spread across the country as to what they do. And they do tremendous work, not only now, but many years ago they've been doing that. And I don't think it's been highlighted in the way they would want it to be.
Well, Mikey, I'm a media person as you.
I know.
And when I came in, I told them, listen, don't assume people know what you do.
Right.
Don't assume that people know all the services that we provide and that they're in tune with it. And I think there was this idea that, we have eye care and everybody knows. Everyone, because you see a few people.
Right.
And so when I came in, we heightened a lot of stuff. One of the things that I did personally is to highlight some of the persons who were doing exceptionally well, like the blind farmer. And he, I think it's on Facebook, had got over 600,000 views.
Wow. Wow.
And it's really doing well. And persons who have interacted with him realize how independent this guy is. And so we have blind persons who are not sitting on the block, who are not sitting at their home waiting for things to happen to them. This guy is actually the sole breadwinner. His name is Tixie, and he is the sole breadwinner for his family. He goes down to his garden. He's able to weed, and he differentiates what are weeds and what are crops, and he harvests. He has persons selling for him, and he's taking his daughter goes to convent, and he's totally involved in her life.
Wow.
And he's blind?
Yeah.
He's blind. He's married. He has more than one child, and he's self-sufficient. He comes to all our meetings. He sits as an executive member.
Not only him, you have a number of workers working in the banking sector. I mean, there's a special lady in the banking sector. In fact, we have two. We have Stacy calling us, and we also have Julia. You know, Julia always calls. Julia is blind as well, my understanding. And it's good to see the private sector has also encouraged the fact that they've been able to employ them as well.
I like what you say, because that's exactly why we love Body Holiday so much. Because Body Holiday, one of the private sector entities that have embraced our blind and visually impaired clients and persons in society. They have employed, and they currently employ the most blind persons.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Our blind people are operating as persons. And I know Jackie, I'm not trying to
I remember
From you, not
And talking about we actually put them on, and if you go to
You're serious? The Body
Facebook
Holiday
page,
is on?
St.Lucia Blind Welfare, you actually see that story as well. And they're doing extremely well, and they're grateful for the opportunity to be independent.
Right.
Blind persons don't want to be given handouts.
Right,
They
right.
want to be able to eke out their own existence, their
Right.
own living. They want to be as independent as possible. And that's why things like advocacy for things like traffic lights, well, to come back to St. Lucia, that makes some sound before you have to cross. So they have an idea, or you have the braille on the side of the pole. And
Computers, yes. I remember Stacy coming here and using it on the computer. I remember Stacy showed me a lot of stuff. And
she
so
can
on.
use a WhatsApp, Facebook.
I know.
Yeah.
And I was telling someone the other day, back in the day, I was asked to do a party, and I always remember that. There was somewhere down Bois d'Orange. And when I got into this, I mean, the first DJ is on, and when I went there was Jim Snow. And Jim Snow said to me, "Hey, Mike, what time you coming on?" And Jim Snow was mixing Caddis music, and I was trying to figure out, oh, he knows what, and he was top of the line, you know. And I saw him by Rendezvous the time he left there and so on, and he's still doing his thing, you know. Yeah, and it's not an easy task. I mean, it's not easy at all.
Jim Snow was just awarded. We had for an inaugural awards and recognition night for blind.
I saw that,
first
yeah,
ever.
yeah.
And he was awarded as a pioneer in his field. I mean, Jim Snow is known around St. Lucia. You cannot say Jim
Nobody St. Lucia, St. Croix,
Yes,
St. Martin.
everywhere.
He travels and goes to performs as well.
You know, and I gave him a ride to the venue at the Governor General's residence. He was telling me of all his exploits.
Yes,
This man,
yes.
I hope you get a chance to sit him down and talk.
Well,
to
we
him.
did
That's-
many years ago at Radio St. Lucia. In fact, he used to come up to Radio St. Lucia, and he knew everyone there. Mike Rogers, I have a new song for you, though. Yeah, he knew everyone. He'd pick up the voice if I'm passing and say, "Jim," he'd say, "Hey, Rogers, what's happening?" You know, and of course he's from Masana's community, like Clary.
Yeah.
And you had to big him up for that. But Glenn, it's good to see that you were part of that, and you know, a great initiative. And I didn't know Body Holiday had so many employees, and it's fascinating to be at Rendezvous for that Dine in the Dark. And how did that come about, though?
Well, let me let Jackie say that.
Yeah, big up
I
Jack.
remember one day Jacqueline did say that your blind masseuse are actually highly sought out over at the resort.
Yes, they're
They
quite
requested,
popular.
yeah.
The guests ask for them by name. We have Georgia, we have Stacy, and we have.
Is that our own Stacy Masana? Is that our Stacy?
I'm not sure.
Stacy.
Yes, Stacy.
Probably, yeah.
Stacia.
Yeah.
That's our Stacy, yes.
Yes.
She's been with the way from the inception. Yeah, I didn't know she was there.
Yes, we've had Johan and so on. And so, yes, we're happy to be able to support them. And I'm just saying again that people who are blind or visually impaired are just like everyone else, just without one particular sense. But being the others are heightened, you know, they are stronger in certain areas that we aren't. And you see it also in just how successful they are, the level of excellence that they have at our spa. And again, we are one of the top luxury spa resorts in the world. So they are part of that team that helped make that happen. And because of the frequency of the requests by the guests and so on, that gives an idea of how well they're doing up there. So they can function optimally like anyone else.
But you guys are different, Jacqueline, because I mean, to lend your support to the blind is indeed incredible.
Right. Well, the owners of the resort, they decided that they would select vision as one of the priority areas because these causes they find are not patronized as much as others. People recognize cancer and diabetes and so on typically, but vision is quite important, and they felt that they wanted to be able to fill in the gaps and ensure that these particular areas, just as critical, get the necessary attention. So that is one of our areas.
And of course, the initiative of Dine in the Dark, I must tell you, Rendezvous is excellent. I want to big up the breakfast chef, and I know some of there's a lady there that I give a ride in the morning, so I know she and so on. But you got some great people there in this little resort, and I stayed there for a while, so I know that. But the Dine in the Dark experience my son and myself had, that was...
How was that experience?
Boy, I tell you, something...
Different.
In fact, Ed was explaining to me, and he said to me, one of the things about that, the whole adventure is that you tend to use your other senses,
Right.
which is something you don't get to use because you see every day. And that in itself is an experience.
Yeah,
you know?
now we hear that all the time. You mentioned, you know, your other senses are heightened, but I didn't think it would kick in right away. You know, from the time we got blindfolded, I was hearing voices that I didn't hear before they blindfolded us. All the way in the kitchen, you would hear a few conversations, you would hear somebody approaching you, and just these little things. But just finding your fork, finding the knife on the table was it was so
the way they use the clock, that is amazing. 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I was confused about it the first time.
It's just like when you drive, they tell you 10 to 2. That's how your hand should be on the steering wheel. So it's a good guide for.
The army too uses. They say 2 clicks out, 1 click out, 3 clicks out.
But did the food taste different?
Well,
or you had a better appreciation for the food?
Well, I think you had an appreciation of the fact that you were trying, first of all. Well, you know the cameras there, but you wanted to get it right, first of all. And then you're in your back of your mind, you had an appreciation for what the blind people go through, because here you are trying to figure out what to do and listening to difference, and you don't have, of course, the sight that you usually have. So you had to try to figure out what to do, and then they send you 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then you're thinking, what is 1 o'clock? Your glass of water is about 5 o'clock, and so on. And I think it's an amazing thing, and I don't know how you guys came up with it, though.
Well, I got the idea from one of our guests, because we engage our guests to get ideas from them as to what they do. A lot of them are into charity work as well. That particular guest works with he was a chairperson of the Canadian Blind Welfare Association, and he said they normally do that as a gala event every year, and it's quite successful. And when he proposed it, and when I did my research, I found out that is quite a rapidly growing trend in a lot of metropolitan countries.
Right.
Paris, there are restaurants
set up just for
even franchise like Noir in Paris, and it's in London, Canada, USA, and actually there are those restaurants which offer the ultimate dine in the dark, whereby blind people serve you. So you are in a completely darkened room. You can't even see your hand before you. But the blind are the ones serving you, pouring your wine, and they spill nothing. Which again is just coming on what Glenn just said. They are able to function optimally. They just need to be oriented, know where they are, and they can function as anyone else in any job that they so again, it's simply a matter of helping them be able to be self-sufficient and function so that they can feel empowered, and that's what the Blind Welfare Association is doing, and we want to be able to support that. So
this is going to be available to the public to participate in the Dine in the Dark.
Yes, again, in as much as it's for Valentine's, it's not only for couples.
Okay.
Right? Because we Valentine's is for a celebration of love. It could be mother and daughter. It could be girlfriends deciding to go out together, and so on. So it's open to the public. Basically, we're inviting you to come support the Blind Welfare Association. You've been hearing about them in the media for quite a while, and you're aware of the important work that they do. And we're saying that if you were to go out for Valentine's, a dinner, why not choose a dinner with a difference? Because dinners are lovely. You go out, you have a wonderful, luxurious meal, romantic night, and so on. But you can have all of that and at the same time be doing good, be giving back to a worthy cause, and having a new experience, so it's
a sensory experience.
I like that. So it would be, what's it, a 4-course, a 3-course?
It's a 3-course dinner this time around, and we're really working up the senses, so you'll be experiencing the various textures, whether it's crunchy versus smooth or whatever, and you'll be guessing your way through those courses. What are you having?
Right.
What ingredients were in there. So it's really...
So you have all the staff, all the staff will be around to help the 2 o'clock, the 2 o'clock and the 3 o'clock.
Yes, we're there to guide you. Right? And it's not... you enjoy, you'll have your intimacy as well as exchange, because if you really look at some of the videos of those events, I mean, people are cracking up in the room, having fun, calling out to their servers and so on. So the entire room is enjoying the experience, and then afterwards you get to see, whether you got it right. If you thought you were drinking a particular type of wine, were you right? Did you think you were having chicken? Was it chicken or was it pork? Was it...
Right.
So is that cauliflower? Or is it risotto? Or potato? So, I mean, I'm just saying that if you really research it, it's quite exciting, and that's why it's a growing trend. And we thought that would be the ideal thing to introduce here in St. Lucia in support of the association. They've had it once a few years ago.
Right.
But since it's growing, we think that it's something that we can do, offer to St. Lucia, new dining experience. So you benefit yourself. You have the full experience, and you know you are doing good. You are loving your neighbor in the process.
So how could persons book their reservations for the Dine in the Dark, and what dates and location is it happening?
It's happening on Valentine's night, which is Friday the 14th of February, and beginning at 6:30 with a cocktail reception, and then we will proceed to the Trysting Place, which is our fine dining restaurant at Rendezvous. And to book your reservations, you call 457-7900.
Okay.
457-7900.
All right.
And the restaurant, you got, what's it called? Like, it's an intimate sort of set.
The Trysting Place.
Yeah, it's very interesting though. Very cool and quiet and sort of. How many people can you sit there though?
70 persons.
70. All right.
It's very intimate.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
and cozy.
Intimate.
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, you don't really, when you come to the resort, you don't see this like in a little corner and so on, but you go in there and it's totally different. Yeah.
Yes.
And Mike, if I could just say, when Jackie says this dinner is in support of the Blind Welfare Association, my stint as president is one that I want to be very clear. If blind welfare doesn't want to be seen as a charitable case, that when you help us, we're trying to help ourselves. So the equipment that they're hoping to procure for us is for our eye care clinic.
Okay.
That particular equipment is going to allow us to even be more independent, or we could see more persons. And you know, blind welfare does not charge the regular fee as regular clinics, but we deal with all the eye conditions and we get quality care. But we want to be able to increase the range of services that we provide.
Because you got more people now,
yes, and be able to actually go out to the communities. We actually have a mapping project that has started, and that mapping project essentially is to find the number of blind persons around St. Lucia, and find out their needs, because we might think that we have only maybe 70, 80, 100. Yeah. But unless you do that mapping project, because blind people, sometimes people get ashamed when they get blind and they stay home. They require services, but they don't want to seek it because they feel, I don't want the help. I don't want to see me in that position because I had my sight before. So we want to find them. I'm going to empower them. We want to be able to.
But how do you go about empowering them though? Because it's an important step to try to get them to feel that there is help on the way.
You make them realize that they could live with their blindness and live effectively. And our success story is one of them. I love going back to him, is our blind farmer. He lost his sight at 28. He used to ride his bikes. He had his motorbike, his car. He was independent. And when he lost his sight, he had to readjust, and blind welfare stepped in for him. And he has sung the praises of blind welfare, that they made him understand how to live with his blindness. Until now, he's independent. He does the things that he used to do before. He just went to Martinique. He told me his friend invited him to Martinique, and he had a ball.
Wow.
You know, and he went on his own. You know, the friend met him across there, and he was. I mean, living independently is what we try to teach persons, that you do not have to try to be somebody that constantly craves for another person to help your hand everywhere. And that's what we want to do, create independence.
But statistically, would you say that there is an increase in persons who've lost their sight at some point in their life on island?
I will tell you that after 6 months.
Okay.
This program runs for 6 months because we'll be guessing. And we've used the World Health statistics that 1% of your population is totally blind. We use that statistic all the time, but we want to find out in St. Lucia how many persons.
How accurate it is.
How accurate it is. And this will be ongoing for us, but it is really a probing mapping project that is going to assist us in planning better and seeking out better services for our clients and persons who are blind. Now, we also know we have an issue of diabetes, and there's diabetic retinopathy that's affecting our population. Persons are losing their sight because of their lifestyle change, the choices.
Yes.
And with proper lifestyle changes, we could be saving, because part of blind welfare's mandate is the prevention of blindness. So we're involved in any and everything that helps to prevent and save person's sight, prevent blindness, save person's sight. And so awareness is part of what we do, and also being able to test. So that equipment that I know St. Lucians will support this activity to help us get that equipment will allow us to be part of the prevention of blindness campaign that we are constantly on. And if you are blind or losing sight, we'll be able to guide you, help you as to how you live a better, wholesome life. That's what we're really about.
Nice.
If I may say, when you think of the prevalence of diabetes, for instance, in St. Lucia, and of course, you know, blindness, loss of sight is one of the side effects. Me, for instance, I'm diabetic, and I did my retinopathy exam just last week, and my doctor reminded me, and he urged me, he stressed that I must manage my sugar, otherwise I really stand the risk of losing sight. And then we don't realize how very easy this can happen, that you have your sight, your independence, and lose it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the sensitization again is not simply of coming to understand what blind people go through, but it's sensitization for people like us to know that our eyes are important. We must be careful. So it's just getting people on board all around, aware, and more conscious. Take care of yourself as you take care of your, you go to the gym and so on.
as well is a major contributor.
And it's something that can happen very easily, having done my research very easily. And you may have symptoms and not think anything of it, not knowing that something is happening in the background. So we must be aware and take steps and take action, to take care of our sight.
Now, Glenn, I heard you mention earlier that you have, there's a Facebook page for the Blind Welfare Association.
St.Lucia. So after, I hope you have a live link that I could use afterwards and put it on. Everything I can do is on. So even the story, Mikey's on our Facebook page, been helped.
Trying to eat,
So we everything that whether we generate it ourselves or persons generate, we try to do it so that there's that level of communication. And so it's at St. Lucia Blind Welfare. Once you go on Facebook, St. Lucia Blind Welfare Association, you will get the Facebook page and you can see what we do, see the awards that we just engaged in it. There, Jim Coco Snow, all of them.
Right.
We have it there, the blind farmer and all the things that we do, because I believe unless people are informed, they know what is happening, they will not respond, and that's what we need to do.
Well, I was trying to get some of of course, I wanted to mention some of your sponsors because it's the Blind Welfare Association. I'm still trying to get to Jacinta Bombay because I understand it's one of your major sponsors as well. So tell us about it, your sponsors.
Yes. So Bombay is coming on board to provide us with the wines and the bubbly for the evening and the drinks. And I must say thank you to the press. You've really come through to assist us in this. Thank you to The Wave. Thank you to HTS and Radio 100, The Star, and a number of others, Calabash TV, and others are coming in to help with the running of the ads and so on.
Right.
So you understand the plight of the association and you wish to help, and we are very grateful. Very grateful. Thank you.
All right, we're hoping to get Jacinta. We can't seem to find Jacinta. But, of course, they're lending great support. You did mention, of course, the wines that they're coming with as well, and the media support. And no doubt the Blind Welfare Association is very proud of that in terms of the support, which, of course, they need tremendously. It's not an easy task as well. So the date is on Valentine's Day, and you can, of course, you make reservations early, you pay at the door. How does that work?
Yes,
because again, your hotel is couples, isn't it? Couples.
It is couples,
right.
But I mean, it can be any two. So again,
any two. Okay.
Even if it's Valentine, it's not only for romantic couples.
Couples. Okay.
It's love.
Yeah.
It's love.
Well, I know I had to get that right because the last time I went by myself and said, "Me get me go." What happened, Mike? So I had to get that.
We will be having group tables.
Okay.
Four groups of 6, whatever size.
Right.
So you can get your friends together and say, let's do this.
Let's do it. Yeah, wonderful. All right.
Experience how blind persons eat every day.
Yeah.
So you experience it for the first time, but that's how they eat every day. They have to figure out how to eat their food. And that's why I served, well, many times now since I'm president, I've been serving persons who are blind, and it's interesting to see how they touch their food before they eat it. They have to figure out what it is. And they don't spill.
Yeah, they got a unique skill though. Yeah. Unique skill. It's not easy, but they got a unique skill. Because as I said, Stacey used to be with us from the time we started, always in the studio. And she would tell me what song and so on, and Stacey knew this and knew that. She knew which door. Where's Masana? She knew where Masana's office is. And it was fascinating and so on. But it's not easy task for you trying to get support, Glenn. And I know Anthony Avril has been doing that for years. And it's good to see that, of course, corporate society, in terms of course, of Rendezvous, Body Holiday, was getting set for wellness later on in the year. I think I can mention that, Jacqueline. Yes. I can. All right.
Wellness Music Festival.
Wellness Music Festival, Didi Bridgewater, Ronald Hingston, Turo Tapping, of course. We can give you a cast out in advance. But it's not an easy task to raise the awareness and get people to cooperate in terms, because you have had many challenges, including the home in St.Lucia. That's been a major challenge for you.
Yeah. You know? And I mean, blind welfare issues have been out there in the public, but like I said, I don't like. For me as president, I don't like to mention our struggles.
Okay.
Mention where we want to go.
Okay.
And where we want to go is the level of independence. So if we get donations, let's plug it into something that could help persons, that could generate funds.
Right.
One of the things that we're doing right now, we have a Japanese touch therapy program.
Okay.
That has been developed for a while now, and finally we have a cohort of 6 blind persons learning Japanese touch therapy.
Wow.
And should I invite you to go to the blind welfare and get a massage?
Oh,
They said once the blind person give you a massage, that's it. You won't go back to somebody else.
Yeah.
The sense of touch is so heightened and it's so acute.
Okay.
And you could go there right now and learn and not learn.
Where is that? You mean in the Science City?
At blind welfare.
Blind welfare? Okay.
And so we have a cohort of 6. What we want to do with them is teach them how to do that Japanese touch therapy program. Essentially massage, but a different type. And when they leave there, they could go out and work anywhere.
Wow.
We don't want only Body Holiday to hire them. We want other corporate sponsors.
But how do you get them? How do you get other corporate people to integrate and share your vision?
Sensitization, advocacy. Keep talking about it. I don't want blind welfare to be sounding like as though it's a charity case that all you have to do is do a walk and give us some money.
Right.
And because that's what has been happening. And
from telephone and that kind of stuff.
With society. Our kids are integrated. We have some of our students, and we gave for the first time education awards to 12 of our students to secondary school and also primary school. And what happened in the secondary school? Those students are passing for the school of their choice.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're fully integrated in the school system, and we have teachers that go to the schools that support them. And that's what we want to do, not create an atmosphere and an environment where blind persons are constantly felt as though
they're isolated. Isolated.
And so they could challenge for your job. So Mikey, somebody could come here blind and interview for a post.
Well, we've had that. I mean, there are people, as I said, Stacey would love to be on radio for sure. I remember she used to be with us 24/7. Climb up the stairs, knew every office and so on, and new music. In fact, her thing is she always had her headphones on. She knew every song we were playing, and if we didn't have a song, she'd probably call me and ask me, I don't hear that song on the wave.
And if you don't realize it, their memory is heightened. They have to remember where they walk, where everything happens, but they remember their history. Mr. Avril could call out things for you that happened since 19 odd.
Wow.
And you're trying to figure out he could call the names of everybody. I mean, because they have to remember, they're forced to remember, and they've taught themselves. And so that part of their brain has developed better than ours.
All right, wonderful.
That
excellent.
great.
All right. Yeah. So, Jacqueline, of course, we must commend your resort and so on. So that's on Valentine's Day. But during the week, what do you have there? What folks can come and check out? Is it open to visitors? Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Rendezvous is the ultimate romantic resort.
Yeah. I can tell you, I can certify that.
There you go. So we are...
Hold on there, Jacqueline. I see I'm getting a call there. I don't know if it's Jacinta calling. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello? Hello?
I can recommend blind welfare to anybody, and because as a blind person, I've been listening for a longest while.
Oh, that's Julia. Hello,
yes.
Julia. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, Julia is calling this morning. Yes. Well, good to have you, Julia. I tell them you're a major part of the wave, and they have something special coming up.
I know. I heard it on the news last night.
Right,
and I'm hoping that lots of people will, participate in it.
Yes. But tell us of your experience, because, as a blind person, in fact, there was a gentleman that met me a couple days ago. He said, I must give you a shout. Yeah, he said, you must shout at Julia. She listens to the wave 24/7.
Yes, I do. Yes. My experience?
Yes.
When I lost, I wasn't born blind. I lost my sight very late, but then I kind of worked through it. Everybody have their ways of dealing with things, and with me, I have always been a very positive person, so I kind of worked around that. From the time I realized I was losing my sight, I started focusing, trying to remember a lot more, and it has been a good journey because I cook.
Right.
I do all sorts of things for myself. Nobody make a good macaroni and cheese pie like me, or make a ginger chicken. So I'm telling you.
And Julia was part of our Cupcake Wars recently.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, yeah.
So it is. So I in fact, they had a reflexology course, which I also did, and as the president said, you really, the people we worked on when we did a reflexology course, all of them really were very, very, very happy with what they received from us. Although it was a 6-week course, but they were really happy with the way we did it, and I really, really appreciated that. And then just being with blind welfare and the things they have taught me have really made me a lot more independent, a lot more positive, and I have a lot to see.
All Okay, yes.
Yes.
But that's yes.
Julia, there's all the walks around places.
Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah.
I love walking.
And when you see her, you have to ask her if she's blind.
Yeah.
You have to ask her because she does not look blind. She does not act blind. You have to ask her. And she's very confident, as she says, extremely confident.
Yeah.
We like persons like that because we don't want persons who are blind to feel that they need to be part of stay in their homes, do nothing.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And I use that thing to educate people because I've gone to places. I think I went to some business place and some young ladies were there, and one said if she was blind, she would lock herself in her house. And I had to go back and educate her.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, we became, she really understood what I told her. And I told her, when you're blind, you don't have to lock yourself away. You're just as capable as any other person. The only challenge is that you cannot see.
Right.
You focus and you know what you're about. Everything is going to be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Julia, I want to thank you for calling. As I said, you're a major staple of the wave.
Yes.
And of course, we always love the fact that you can give us a call now and then, and people look forward to always shouting you up as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Bye-bye.
All right, Julia there with us. And of course, I tell you, she and Stace has been with the wave for years, and they're always calling and so on, and people always tell me to shout them up. And it's good to know now, Glenn, I guess since we know you're the president, we'll be able to reach out to you more often.
Of course.
Yes, indeed. And of course, Jacqueline, I mean, we commend your management as well for putting on the special event for the Blind Welfare Association. And I know you do have other events that take place. I think you had a karaoke session one time or something, or after work lime on a Friday.
Yes, we have done that before.
Okay.
We are considering having one again sometime in the next few months.
And I know, of course, LaSpoil, I love the transformation. I tell you, there's a villa there. I went there one day. Oh, Lord. Top of the line. And I can't wait for the Wellness Festival that's coming up in September.
That is going to be quite exciting.
Yeah.
Again, we are a wellness resort. And both the Rendezvous and Body Holiday. Just to speak on Rendezvous, again, you just asked what we do.
Right.
Rendezvous is really based on the concept of busy couples making time for each other. Our tagline.
I like that, making time for each other. What's your Masala open eye, white eye? What do you say that?
Time is so precious.
Yes, yeah.
Smart couples steal it. That's our tagline. So precious. It's a time for couples who are busy.
Right.
Because when you get caught up in the busy world of work, traveling,
and the day-to-day,
exactly.
Yeah.
And the good thing is you're in VG area, close to the airport, but when you're at Rendezvous, the garden setting don't make you feel by the airport until you're at the airline.
It's a hidden gem.
It is a hidden gem, yes,
Indeed.
Yeah, but it's good. And as I said, the food is excellent. You got some good staff there. They're always welcoming and so on.
Family-oriented.
Very friendly.
Yeah.
You got some
And
beds.
what's your slogan at Body Holidays? Somebody told it to me and I was blown away.
Give us your body for a week and we'll give you back your mind.
Oh, I love it. And what's the things you got on the beach there? Is the beds, what do you call it though? The little thing.
Cabanas?
What do you call it?
The cabanas.
Cabanas is a little thing. Okay, on the beach. So, I tell you, I love it.
Great relaxation.
Yeah.
Really nice.
But again, commendable that you're supporting the Blind Welfare Association. Yes. We hope, of course, we can do some sort of work with you again. Looking forward before the Wellness Festival. I know, of course, Rendezvous LaSpoil is doing tremendous work. Want to big up all the guests there as well. And Glenn, by extension, thank you, sir. I had no idea, and we're looking forward to working with you and the folks at the Blind Welfare Association.
Let me just say that we really value the support that we're getting from Body Holiday, and actually they were one of our
and Rendezvous.
Yeah, Rendezvous there.
And they actually gave at our inaugural award ceremony. Jackie wasn't there to receive it, but I think she received it afterwards.
Right.
An award from Blind Welfare, because we always seen as takers.
Right. Yeah.
And we really value.
That's commendable. The awards. I think the Governor General was a part of that as well.
The Governor General wanted to be part, and he says, "Listen, he had a few things that he wanted to do. Please hold off so that he could have it at his residence."
I realized that. Yeah, I saw the photos and so on.
This came off like national award.
Yeah.
Really high level, really fantastic, and it's going to be an annual.
And it raises the awareness of the blind Welfare Association as well. So it's in there and stuff like that. And you said you had a page, Facebook. So you're on Instagram as well, or just
We're
Facebook?
not on Instagram yet. We're just on Facebook.
Just on Facebook, okay. So listeners can follow you and see what some of the developments that you're doing.
See what blind welfare is all about, see what we're doing. We're trying to put all our activities on. We're also putting some profiles on our blind persons as well.
Right,
so you can see blind persons who are doing some very positive things.
Okay, wonderful.
And that's one of the comments that came from somebody when we had the blind farmer on. They were like, if he's doing all of that, what is the excuse for the guys on the block? You know, he's doing all of that for himself and sustaining his family. What's the excuse? You know, because you have all your senses.
Yeah.
But again, a different mindset as well. A different mindset.
Yeah. Anything to add, Jacqueline?
Okay, just adding again, reminding persons of the importance of this particular event to raise funds to support the Blind Welfare Association. Again, we're speaking about empowerment, and really the aim of this is to enable them to get this state-of-the-art equipment that allows them to offer more services and more advanced services so that they could generate that income consistently to support themselves.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking to be self-sustaining, so we're looking to empower them, not that they're constantly looking for support and then they remain in the same position. Now, as a result, our CARES program's tagline is changing people's lives one person at a time. Our plan is to enter any situation and move them from one position to another. We want to ensure that whatever we do actually makes a discernible difference, a noticeable difference that really changes the situation for them. So that's what we're seeking to do. So it's quite an important cause, and we're really hoping that the public will respond and support and come enjoy themselves.
All right.
Process.
Well, thanks again, Glenn Simon, and of course, Jacqueline. I want to thank you. It was great to have us at the Rendezvous for our experience. So hope to visit again sometime. Michael Masana in the morning. Homer is up next. And again, as Cohen DeBoer would say to Jacqueline and the Blind Welfare Association, thanks for the love. Good morning as well.
Of modern music.
If a girl touch me, me nah say me nah be that.
Tell when you are buying, you be more careful, do you can find
Stay connected all day, every day. WhatsApp us anytime. 727-4474. The Wave 94.5 and 93.7.